everyone, and welcome to our first official One Van, No Plan episode. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but we are so excited to finally be releasing this first video.
Yeah, and as everyone can probably guess, with the arrival of the coronavirus, it made for some pretty difficult, faith-driven decisions.
To say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. And it put us under some interesting circumstances for the beginning of our so-called Great American Road Trip.
But with our apartment lease coming to an end and practically our whole life savings thrown into this build and our wedding, we just knew that the only decision was to continue on with our plan, which was to live in our van on the road for a year. And
with rumored threats of stay-at-home orders from local and state governments, we just hurried as fast as we could to work at an accelerated pace to put the finishing touches on the van and sell or get rid of anything that we wouldn't be able to fit on the van.
That way, if they did place any travel restrictions, we wouldn't be stuck in Lancaster, Pennsylvania with no place to legally quarantine.
Yeah, and the challenge of putting together a tiny home on wheels in the middle of a global pandemic proved to have its problems all its own. But you'll see those struggles in later episodes.
But for now, we just wanted to kind of, for our first video, share a transition from apartment living to life on the road.
Yeah, now as the country was slowly shutting down, one city at a time, we had to forego our plans to take the East Coast down to Florida, kind of being beach bums the whole way, to now camping in primitive campsites and national forest along the way to Alabama to check on my family.
So here's where our journey begins. If you're enjoying it, make sure to drop us a like. We're Elena and Cody Hunt.
And we are One Van, No Plan.
This past year, we got married, bought a van, and began converting it into a tiny home on wheels.
The conversion process in itself was quite an interesting journey. But now we've set off on an even greater adventure, traveling to all 50 states in our van Luna.
Join us on the road and witness firsthand what it's like to live in one van.
With no plan. It's moving sale day. We're getting rid of everything.
So we set up what looked like a tchotchke shop in our living room and had an indoor yard sale.
Then we took Luna to the car wash so she'd be nice and clean when we hit the road. We hustled to install the remaining essential van life accommodations.
And Cody got to play one last jam before it was time to go. This is our last moment in our first apartment. How are you feeling?
Ready to leave.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to call the van home.
All right. One last look around. Just left our apartment, which is this building you see behind us here. And before we take off on the road, we want to christen our new van Luna with this sticker, which was given to me by my great friend, Teron Quells. All right, she's christened. We're hitting the road to go to the woods.
What are we starting the trip with? How many miles?
72,694. Here we go.
Before we could leave Lancaster, we had a few errands to run, starting with dropping off our parking key downtown.
We just have to drop this off in the drop box, which is here. All right, there you go. Probably should have put it in an envelope with my name on it so they know that it was mine, but oh well.
Next, we took everything we didn't sell to Goodwill and forwarded our mail so we could receive it on the road.
We then had to travel all the way across town to fill up our water tanks with potable water before we headed into the wilderness. And we do live in Lancaster County, so yes, that is a real horse and buggy you see there. It's a regular occurrence at stoplights. We made an unexpected pit stop. Now that we had our water and other essentials, we made our way to the grocery store to stock up on food.
After running into our good friend Caleb Hughes at the checkout line, we stocked our fridge and pantry and made our final stop at Costco to get some gas. Don't worry, we were safe. Thanks, Jacob and Cassie.
Finally, in true Cody and Elena fashion, we left the state of Pennsylvania. Much later than we anticipated. As you could see, it was already getting dark, so we just decided to hunker down in a Walmart parking lot somewhere in Maryland for the night.
So, we slept in the van for the first time last night. How was it?
I slept like a baby. I wasn't disturbed by anything.
Pretty good.
After a good night's sleep and filling our bellies, we started to get super hyped about our first destination, Wolf Gap Recreation Area in the George Washington National Forest. Until...
Wait, what do you mean it's closed? I thought you said Wolf Gap was open.
It just changed. I'm looking at the website right now, and it just says status, area closed. All right, so due to COVID-19, a lot of the campgrounds that we initially planned on parking at were closed. We've been Googling and searching, and everything said area closed, area closed. Cody and I called like 3 or 4 different ranger stations. We weren't getting any answers. But finally, he got through to someone.
Hi, we were just wondering if there was any dispersed camping available in your area at this time. Okay, we were just concerned with COVID and all of the other stuff with certain national parks closing down. We just didn't know if you guys had started to close things down yet or not. Okay, excellent. Now, is this the state of Virginia or West Virginia that I'm speaking to right now? Okay, excellent. So if I were to want to go to Wolf Gap and disperse camp in Wolf Gap, that would be okay as long as it's dispersed? All right, thank you so much. All right,
So what'd they say?
They said that all dispersed camping is okay. They've only shut down the campgrounds.
Okay.
And I asked her, is this the state of Virginia or West Virginia? She said Virginia. And she said that, dispersed camping is okay as long as if we want to truck camp, tent camp, whatever, as long as it's dispersed, it's fine. The campgrounds themselves have just been closed.
Okay.
And all the restrooms and stuff.
Okay.
So Wolf Gap still?
Might as well.
Might as well. Here we come, Wolf Gap.
And how much dollars?
0, free.
Dispersed camping is okay, which just means we won't have access to a nice restroom or a pit toilet, but we can do dispersed camping, so we are so excited.
And we were worried that we weren't gonna, which we were planning on doing dispersed camping anyway, but with them saying closed, we thought maybe the whole park was closed. But I just got confirmation from the lady that not only is her park open right now, and it's the only park that's open for day use and for camping and that sort of stuff, but all dispersed camping in Virginia right now is legal as of right now. So as long as we're in the middle of the woods, we should be okay. So we're gonna go where we were planning to go in the first place, which is Wolf Gap Recreational Area, and we should be there in 50 minutes.
Cody spotted a primitive camping spot behind some trees just off the road. So we parked and hurried to set up camp before it started raining. One more foot. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Gotta get a little run and go because I just put myself back in the dark.
That's where you wanted to go? Maybe go back just like a foot, or like not even a foot. That's good.
right, camp's all set up, and now it's time for dinner. All right, Elena's screwing in our pocket rocket.
A wedding gift from our friends Emily and John. Some people register for KitchenAids. We registered for camping supplies. Really with some gloves.
As you can see, Elena is enjoying it.
Pretty good.
I'm going to finish my sandwich that Elena made me earlier and dig in on some of that.
So, we saw a freshwater spigot as we were driving into camp. So we are trying to conserve the 15 gallons of water that we have, and just thought it would be fun to take a walk. So we've got our dishes. We could easily wash them in the van, but again, just want to conserve some water and just have a little fun adventure.
For days, searching for your praise, but is it even there to find?
Early the next morning.
After a morning of relaxing, my husband put on the goofiest outfit to go fishing.
We walked for quite a while until we found a pond in the middle of the wilderness. As Elena sat out and caught some sun, I did a little bit of fishing.
Say hi, Cody. Hi, Cody. Cody.
As the sun began to set, the sound of tree frogs became almost deafening. It was quite a cool experience. I did end up catching a few fish, but they were all too small to keep. But no worries, we had plenty of food back at the camper to keep us full. Man, I wish y'all had smell-o-vision. Y'all eating this good? That weekend, we had chicken, asparagus and mushrooms. We had steak.
We're eating good in Luna. But our favorite meals were cooked over the fire, and Cody made sure we had plenty of firewood. So what are we making, Cody?
Hobo burgers.
And explain, what is a hobo burger?
So what you do is you take some ground beef and you flatten it out into a patty, and then you take all of your vegetables and you chunk them out. You just dice them up, whatever you want. Tomatoes, onions, potatoes, carrots, anything you want. Today we have mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, and we seasoned them all up. We put garlic and cheese chunks in the middle. And then we took a second patty of meat and laid it on top of the first patty, and then you just pinch it all together to make a nice pocket. You wrap that in aluminum foil. You get a fire going with like pine cones, because pine cones burn at a really high temperature. You don't want big flames.
When you're cooking, you want just red hot coals. So you burn the fire for a couple hours.
Cody talked about fire for about 10 minutes. Basically, all you have to do is put the burger in the foil and the foil on the fire.
You open that all up, you throw your aluminum foil with your burgers down on top of that, you rake the coals back kind of around it and on top of it, and you put those logs back on top of that. Put another layer of pine cones, pine straw leaves to get the fire going around it again, and just keep blowing it. Anytime you see flame, you kind of want to make sure that coal's getting in there. You don't want flame, you just want red hot coals.
Should be done in like 35 to 40 minutes. Just enough time to have a refreshment.
Here you go, honey.
Thank you. Burgers are done. What did you think about the hobo burgers?
They should be called King and Queen burgers, because I feel like I ate like a king and a queen. It was so good.
It was good. That was the special sauce.
So special, we're not telling anyone the ingredients.
As the week went on,
We shared a couple breakfasts in bed with the doors wide open, and we spent a lot of time just lounging around and finding creative ways to entertain ourselves. Overall, we had a really enjoyable week. We even had a view while doing chores.
We enjoyed the sunshine, and we even enjoyed the wind as it pelted our campsite from time to time. These are some crazy winds.
Through it all, we really began to connect with nature.
What in the world are you doing?
It's shower time.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
going to the creek to get a shower.
Lord help us. By the end of the week, as the fog rolled in and temperatures began to drop, we realized it was time to leave Wolf Gap and head south. Last time filling up at this good old free water station.
We had a really great start to our trip, even in the midst of a global pandemic. And all the fun we had at Wolf Gap made us even more excited to see where we would end up next.
Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see how coronavirus catches up to us even in the middle of the woods. They're closing the roads.
We run into a few bumps in the road and try our hand at tire surgery. We get our brand new drone stuck in a tree. Will we be able to get it down?
Come on, baby. Come on.
Me or the drone?
The drone, the wind, you.
Will we be too discouraged to go on?
I'm just so cold.
Right now?
I'm ready. No, just in general. I'm ready to move south.
Yeah.
They're closing the roads. All the lakes, all the ponds. COVID-19, you suck.
Wow. That was a really, really great episode.
I
think that was an
know.
awesome first
I
episode.
enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens next week.
Same.
Looks like drama gets
I
introduced.
almost like it so much that I want to subscribe and watch every time they post a video.
Yeah, and like it.
Yeah.
Or in comment with questions or things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
So, what did you learn about me this week?
What did I learn about you this week? Well, we've been spending a lot of time together. I learned that you are resilient and that you absolutely love hobo burgers.
That's the bomb.
Yeah, we could tell there that you love hobo burgers. What did you learn about me?
I learned, Cody, that you really like birds.
His pegs are very slow.
Well, everybody likes birds. That's not fair.
No, like creepily like birds.
Right there. He has beautiful, pure white and black stripes all the way down his
Like
back.
it's not normal how much you like birds.